All right, we're gonna start the show. I have my host Don in Texas here.
You what?
The host, bro. Your host.
Or something else.
My hoe. Nah,
Yeah,
just kidding.
exactly. So,
Nah, that's crazy.
Nah, host.
Co-host, a
The
co-host
host,
here.
co-hosts,
Yeah, co-host.
ho.
co-host.
Pronunciation is key.
Yeah, definitely need to work on that. Hopefully, I set this up right. Nothing breaks. So I don't know if you guys are looking, but I'm gonna start with groups 1 and 2 to show off what the final group look like. It should still be working. It might, yeah.
Can't see anything, honestly.
Oh, I fucked up. All right, so group 1, the leader of the group was Lethal with 26 points. Came in second place is No Subo Gordas FC. We got FGF Esports finishing third, Chorizo Tacos fourth, Exile finishing fifth, and then Cultura Norte finishing sixth. So from that group, we'll have Lethal and No Subo Gordas going on to the next round. And then from group 2, we have El Mariachi, 37th Chamber, and Super Saiyans rounding up the top 3. Then we got Invictus, 4th, AEFC Galaxy, 5th, and then Nemesis Esports, 6th. And out of this group was one of the groups that we got one of our third place teams going through. So, any surprises for you guys in those groups? Like for me personally, Super Saiyans FC is a surprise coming out of that group.
Yeah, well, they did play pretty well in their regular season, so it's pretty good to actually see them going. It is a surprise, but it is pretty good seeing them go through. I would say that. Nemesis didn't really expect to see them where they are, but we
I think
understand what happened.
that's the other nemesis.
Yeah, we understood what happened right there, so not really much to say on that.
And
And
then
from group 1, not really. I mean, the top two teams they both played pretty well, so I see FGF was putting up a good fight, but unfortunately were unable to get enough points to go through as one of the third place teams here, but I think that group did pretty okay in my eyes, I would say.
yeah, I think that group I wasn't surprised with the top 2. And then I believe FGF. I thought they might have been able to grab a third place spot, but was not to be. So we're gonna move over to groups 3 and 4, and on this side we have two of the most competitive groups in my eyes. We had Samba FC in Group 3, finishing top 3 with Olympus and Dallas Burn, and then rounding out the group was World Class, Gulazo, and Nemesis. And then in Group 4, we had Mortales, FC, Eminem, and Cracks Nation finishing top 3. And then United Kings FC, SWFC Esports USA finishing 5th. And then Prime Legacy 6th. Both of these groups will have all 3 of their top 3 teams going on to the next round. You guys have any thoughts on this group?
Yeah, and it's like I was mentioning here, the other Nemesis, which is very surprising, they both had the same issue, which is kind of surprising, but I think World Class, I expected World Class to actually probably be one of the top three teams here, but you can see Dallas Burn actually nipping that third place spot. On Group 4, top two teams pretty much expected for me, and you see Cracks Nation going through. So both these teams, or groups, I should say, not teams. My apologies. Were pretty competitive, but I think based on the standings here, just the only surprise for me is just World Class not making it through there. But it was a pretty competitive group, so I understood the sentiment of what really happened there.
Yes, and
Yeah, I agree. I agree with him. I think that was a very tough group. Seeing Samba finish up top of the number one spot, and actually seeing Dallas Burn actually get in that third spot is kind of surprising. But yeah, I figured I thought World Class was gonna be up there in number one or two spot. But like I said last week in the podcast, or I mean in the broadcast, that every game was important, and no, that's the results right there.
yes, and then at a group four, Mortales will earn the number one seed. They finished with the most points, 28 points, went undefeated. I think Lethal also went undefeated, but they drew one game more. So they will be receiving the number one seed on the bracket. We're going to move on to groups five and six. On these two groups, we have Showtime and the most hated going through, with Vicious finishing third, Footballers FC finishing fourth, Punishers, No Name XI, and then in group six, we have MTX Toys, Itole Sal, Lacritas, Chronic Crew, Rumbaroon, and Aztec Esports. We actually watched the games for Group 5 on Thursday because I believe Vicious, Footballers, and Punishers were all vying for a possible third place spot. Unfortunately, it
Yeah,
looks like they came up short by maybe a point or two.
they were all on the final match day. They were all vying for a spot. Footballers, I can't remember the fixtures specifically, but most hated got that much needed win here to cement their place, so that they didn't have to really go through like an end of day fight to see who made it through the group. And Punishers, I think they were doing really well, but they were unable to get it over the line. Vicious also doing pretty well too. If them winning their game against Most Hated, if they did, I think it would have probably put them in for a contention for a third place spot. But unfortunately, they weren't able to win that game here, and as you can see, they were unable to make it through. But that final day was pretty competitive in this group as everyone below, other than Showtime had already sealed their place, but everyone else from second to fifth, a much needed win would have probably put any one of these teams through. But as you can see, Most Hated was the one who were able to take it. From Group 6, not really much surprise there. MTX Toys, a pretty competitive team. They made it through. Lacritas as well, and Etiol. Pretty much all competitive teams there. So that was pretty much expected from me.
Yeah, I think there's no surprises from that group, but it was unlucky for Punishers because I believe their last two matchups were against Showtime and Most Hated, so they had it tough
Yes,
in
it
the
was
last round.
indeed.
But yeah, so that is how the six teams. That's how the six groups finish. I apologize. 16 teams moved on. They would be seeded one through six. So top, the first place teams would be one through six. Second place team would be 7 through 12, and then the last four teams that made it through third place would receive a seeding between 13 and 16. Before we reveal the brackets, though, we're gonna give some love to some of the players that we believe performed the highest. Unfortunately, we based this on a couple of stuff that we saw on the stats, whether it was goals, clean sheets, assists, man of the match. We tried our best to find a way to evenly assign these players. Unfortunately, the site didn't have a way for us to do that. But this is the team of the group stage for the ACL Cup. The starting strikers, we got George Meza 7, I O'Brien 10, and at Cam we got Castruita. We have two wingers, Andres G 97, and then Dot 2. And then CDMs Radford 90, RX Cross, center backs Magine Ortiz, Ali Reese 97, and goalkeeper Nino. On the bench we'll have Yashin, Vernalito, Little VD, Sebas Seasons 23, Norbach, Dieguinho, and Kaiser. Those players will be the team of the tournament for
Well,
this.
team of the group
It
stage
should have been
so
team of the group
far.
stage so far. Yes, yes. We will try to get a final group, final team once the cup is over. But for the time being, this is the team of the group stage. Any surprises for you guys in those names?
No, I see familiar faces there. A lot of people that play very very well. So I mean, everybody obviously they did their job and they're there for a reason. So congratulations to all of them. And hope they can keep doing their job. And we'll see how they do in the group stage, the knockout stage. I'm sorry, knockout.
Yeah, I think the toughest decision came with CBs because we had a team that basically dominated the leaderboard and the clean sheet. So we try to be fair with everybody. But yeah, this team is the best team that we've seen. I mean, these are the best players we've seen. I think Nino, we've seen in some of our streams. Yashin and him, I think, had a couple games where we saw them both just be like unstoppable. Like they were blocking everything. So, Don, do you have any thoughts on this group, this team?
I think this is a pretty good. Yeah, as you said here, like trying to get like even because if one team performs like exceptionally well, then their team is gonna dominate the leaderboards. But trying to be fair, I think some of these people here they played pretty well here, and they are most deserving of their spots. I would say here, like watching Nino, RGX, Toss, and all those guys, they played pretty well. So I think they're all deserving of their spot. Norbike as well. I enjoyed watching the couple games I see him play as well. So they're all deserving, I would say.
Yes, they're definitely all well deserving. All right, so the moment that everybody's here for, we're gonna split the bracket into two, left side and the right side, and then we'll show the full bracket at the end. So for the left side, we're gonna have Mortales with the number one seed going against Cracks Nation, which would be the 16th seed. The next game is Itole Sale versus FC Eminem. Both are 8 and 9 respectively. On the second side, we have MTX Toys and Super Saiyans FC. MTX was 4th seed and Super Saiyans was 13th seed. And then at the bottom, we have Showtime versus Olympus, which is a 5 versus a 12 seed. What are you guys' prediction on this side of the bracket? Do you see guys see any favorites, any upsets maybe?
I don't think there's gonna be any favorites. I think they're all tough matches, and I mean, the guy's gonna have to show up that night and see who really wants it the most.
All right. Well, I'm not being biased here, but looking at these games here that they're matched up with and how they performed in the groups, me personally, as I said, not biased, but the teams I think will make it through to the next round I would say Showtime would make it through. I think FC Eminem they have the players here to make it through over ATO, but we'll never know. I'll give the pip to Mortales, and between MTX Toys and Super Saiyans, I give more the edge to MTX, but Super Saiyans, I mean, like you see, they're the most unknown team I would say here that made it through to the group. Not saying they're a bad team or anything, but they happened to squeeze through. They played pretty well in their group as well, so you never know what could happen. But I'll still give it to MTX Toys for that one.
Yeah, it's gonna be a very good, interesting side. I think Mortales has to be the favorite, being the number one seed, and I think MTX might be in for a scare with Super Saiyans. I mean, they've been playing really well, so if they can play their style, maybe they put up a fight. Definitely interesting to see that Showtime versus Olympus game. I mean, that's a heavyweight fight. I know Olympus might have received a seed that might not be what they would have wanted, but all that matters is you made it through, and you just got to play your games now. But yeah, I think it's Mortales gonna go through. Probably, I'm gonna go with Ito Sale and MTX Toys. We're gonna flip to the right side now, where we have on this side we have Lethal as the second seed versus Dallas Burn, who are the 15th seed. No Subo Gordas versus 37th Chamber. That is 7 versus 10. El Mariachi versus Lacritas, which is a 3 versus 14. And then Most Hated versus Samba FC, which is a 6 versus an 11. What are your thoughts on this group?
Or on this side of the bracket here, Well, let me just give my outright who I think will go through here, and then we'll go into other things. So Dallas Burn, they clinched the third place spot. I think here Lethal will pretty much edge them out here, but they did pretty well for themselves making it through to the next round. So Super Gordas in 37th chamber. That might be a tough fight here. I can't really give a definite answer. I think No Subo might go through on this one, but we'll just have to see how the games play out here. Another tough one between El Mariasa and Lacritas. Hmm. Not sure about this one either. It might be a tough fight. Comes down to the wire, depending on how they both play their games. But I'll probably give that edge out to probably Lacritas. We'll just have to see. I'm just giving picks here. I don't know who's gonna go out. And for Samba and Most Hated, I watched most of the games. Surprisingly, I ended up watching was Most Hated games. So I'm giving them the edge. That's probably biased on my part, but hey, they played pretty well in my eyes. I like seeing how they play. So I think most hated is just gonna go through here on that part.
Sounds good. You got any thoughts, Texas?
Uh, uh, so I mean, it's a tough group as well, but I see Lethal going through honestly over Dallas. I have most hated going through honestly over Samba, but that's gonna be a very very tough match. I got Lacritas honestly, and man, no super gordas. I gotta give it to them. But like I said, I don't know, man. It's like when we get to knockout stage, it's a whole new tournament, and people are gonna come out fighting, and we see who really wants it more.
Definitely, definitely. We have some really good games. Mortales and Crack Nations were in the same group, but the way we based it off was the seeding. So Crack Nations was the last seed based off their finishing third place and they had the lowest points. So that's how we did it. We thought that was the fairest way. So that's luckily that's how the bracket ended up being. Uh, so this is what it's gonna. This is how it looks full screen of both sides. We would we will be streaming one of these games tomorrow. We're not sure which one yet. We're gonna try to see what the best game for everybody wants to watch. But yeah, this is what the bracket's gonna be for the tournament going for tomorrow. We will update the site to so it shows. For stats, you just make sure that you have everybody in your roster and post the scores in the Discord group, and we'll take care of everything else. Uh, Don, Texas, any thoughts? You got a potential winner, maybe, or a potential upset?
All right, well, hey, what I'll say is potential winner. I don't know, but we'll just have to see. When it comes to the both finals on each side of the bracket, I'll probably have a better potential winner there. But as for right now, anything can really happen. So we'll just have to see how the games play out.
Yeah, I agree with the same thing. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of good games, man. Maybe we should get like a poll up, see what games we can stream to the ACO site, and yeah, it's a lot of interesting games.
Yeah, we'll definitely pull out a poll or something to see what games people want to watch. We'll probably put that out today. That way we can get enough people to vote, and then by the end of by the afternoon tomorrow, we'll decide which and the winner is. But yeah,
Definitely.
like Don said, I think it's a toss up in the winner because any team can catch fire right now, and I mean most brackets are pretty evened up. I don't see anybody just running away with it. We're gonna have to see if Mortales and Lethal lose a game. You know they've been undefeated throughout the whole cup, and now they have the most probably the most potential to end up in the final. So we'll see how that goes. But you know, Lacritas, even though they finished 14th seed, but again, it was more basically on the fact that their group was a strong group, so they could easily also upset go through an upset run. So yeah, it's anybody's game now, and we just have to see what happens.
Yep. who wants it the most.
Yep, we got somebody asking for La Crita's game to be streamed tomorrow. But yeah, we'll see. We'll put out a poll, see what everybody wants in the manager's chat. We'll post what time the stream starts, and hopefully we get everybody to watch. Any final thoughts, guys?
I'm good on my end. Excited to see
Uh,
what happens tomorrow.
yeah, we'll see what happens tomorrow and how all the games play out, who moves through, and so on. Also, want to say thank you for everyone who showed up to the stream just to check out how the groups go. Depending on if your team made it, your team didn't, we want to thank you so much for the support. But yeah, we get some. We hopefully will have an interesting game to preview tomorrow, and yeah, just vote. Let us know. We'll see what games we can cover. Try to get you updated on most scores as well, because everyone would like to know how the other games are going, even though you can't really see that all at the same time. But I hope we have a good cup run and for the rest of the bracket here. And yeah, that's pretty much it from my end.
Yeah, we would definitely appreciate all 36 teams that signed up. It was a great, I think it was a great cup. We had I think every game was played. We had a few teams dropped at the end, which is unfortunate, but there's not really much we can do. We got the 16 best teams now, and we're gonna have to see them battle it out for that prize. All right, I guys appreciate it. Tune in tomorrow. We'll be back live at around, I believe, 11 p.m. EST for the quarter round of 16 games. And like I said, we'll put up a poll and see what games we do. Appreciate everybody tuning in. We will post a YouTube video of the recap. That way, people who couldn't see it can watch it again. So, thank you very much.